Yeah, you playing silly buggers again? Why does that not surprise me, hey? Silly little shelly dwellies. Yeah, should we get this thing started? Just in case someone happens to watch. Yeah, does that sound a good idea? Don't you flare at me. Sunday shop doo 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 doo. Sunday shop doo 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 doo. Sunday shop doo 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 doo. Arr. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, greetings, salutations. Hello, replay crew. Well, hello, nobody. You know how it is when you start a stream, especially if you're running a bit late and you didn't get a chance to put it actually up that you were going to stream. Stream. So, no stream last week because YouTube was playing silly buggers and said streaming is unavailable right now. Great. Sammy, how you doing, my buddy? 2 years and 1 month. Thank you very much. We're getting towards a 50-gram pouch of tobacco. Thought it was Monday again. Well, congratulations, it's not Monday. It's still Sunday. So yeah, no stream last week as YouTube playing silly buggers. Did get around to putting some videos up this week. Just the last half of the Peddars Way cycle ride. So nothing too exciting or interesting. Just lots of sped up footage of me cycling through the Norfolk countryside. In basically a straight line. Because it was the section from Castlemaker all the way up to the coast. Well, GoPro ran out of battery in Sedgeford, so a couple of miles short of the coast. Walking the dog, we'll be back. Promise, not like last. No worries. Give the dog a fuss for me. Yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, from Castle Acres to the coast is basically a straight line all the way. 20 miles in a dead straight line, pretty much. It's like riding through America. Just with hills and rutted out cart tracks and yeah. So there's only one more video to go from that trip, which is the video from camp, which was filmed at about 5 o'clock in the morning, pitch black. So that's great. Trying to think what else I've got ready to go. Well, recorded. The trip to Gressnell. Yeah, the work farm anyway. So I've got several videos from there I filmed. And I suppose I'll have to start figuring out some more content. Hopefully some fishy stuff, because that seems to get the views rather than the others. Been working on clearing out more of the back garden so I can actually get the fence repaired. I can see the pond again now, and the fish are all okay. Yeah, well, they're bigger than they were the last time I saw them, but they're doing okay. What else have I been up to this week? Because I can't remember last week, let's be honest. Hair, work. Day off doing chores, Friday, and yesterday more chores, more cutting the garden, and I went for a bit of a bike ride. It was ridiculously humid, so I didn't go too far. Yeah. I say I didn't go too far. I did 18 miles, but yeah, it was that level of humidity where when you get out into open country, it kind of looks almost misty. It's not mist. It's just that humid that it looks it. Um, that humid that sweat doesn't evaporate. So it really wasn't a pleasant experience. Most of the ride, I was just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It didn't. But it was nice to get out and see some nature and wildlife and go down some roads I've not been down before. Saw a red kite again, another roe deer, muntjac, squirrels, windmill I had no idea was even there. Village I'd never even heard of before. Yeah, these kind of things that you find when you just go on a random bike ride without any route planned. Although I have figured out I can't ride a drop bar bike because of skeletal malformation. Howdy, Linkbot. That reminds me, I was going to put in a second level at some point. That'll wait. Yeah, so there's not been an awful lot going on of late. We've had our new assistant manager start at work. Get on fine with her. Some others have got some slight issues, but sure they will be resolved. It's coming up to our busy time of year, which thankfully dies off before Christmas, which unfortunately means that over the Christmas period we're bored poopless. And that week between Christmas and New Year, where we're shut for half of the week, and everyone's still got to get all their hours in, so we'll be massively overstaffed. So there will literally be nothing to do that week. Joy. Yeah, other than that, not a lot going on. Been keeping an eye on the US presidential race. I will just leave it at that. Hello again, Linkbot. We'll not get into politics. We'll try not to anyway. Yeah, it's really been kind of dull and dire around here. There's not a lot going on. People had a haircut. The cats are being cats, friendly when they want to be, little sods when they want to be. Samuel, the ghost at work, has been kicking off a bit, making his presence known, let's put it that way. As we all know, it is absolutely fine by me. It's just some other people don't particularly like it too much. They're a bit shocked by how blasé I am about these things. But yeah, that's pretty much where I am, what I've been doing. Yeah. So, please, somebody in chat find something to talk about because I'm really not much this week. other than the fact that I hate brambles and I hate stinging nettles even more. And I hate people who drive big SUVs on very small country lanes and don't give any space or slow down at all for cyclists. I'm not sure where I was expected to vanish to. Single track lane, literally maybe a foot wider than a car. This woman's coming towards me at 30-40 mile an hour, and I'm like, well, there's no passing spot and there's no spot for me to pull over. What do you want me to do? And she just drove past a passing place. She must have seen me because it's a dead straight road. So yeah, Sharpe had to basically pull into the hedge, which, being I was wearing shorts, meant bramble and nettle time again. Yes, not pleasant. But hey, I survived. I managed to maintain my calm and composure enough to not kick or punch her car, or get her license plate and report her to the police. So yeah, which I could easily have done. Would have been better if I had video evidence of it, but I didn't. So I might have to start running the GoPro on bike rides, whatever. Especially when I'm on little lanes like that. So I can then send the footage off to the police and go, yes, this person was driving illegally, and they will get sent a fixed penalty notice through the post. And they won't know who did it. Well, unless they remember, hang on, I went past a bike that had a camera on the handlebars the other day or the other week on that road. Yeah, I don't care. Don't want to get in trouble with the law. Don't break the law. Quite simple, really. It's like the whole speed camera thing where people get upset when they get caught by a speed camera. But, well, the speed limit's there. If you're going faster than the speed limit, then it's your fault, not the speed camera's fault. Now, if you don't speed, then you don't get done for speeding. But apparently that's no. They should be allowed to go faster because they're an excellent driver. Laws shouldn't apply to me because, yeah, it's not necessarily down to the person that is driving the car that might cause the accident. Let's say, for example, it's a 30 mile an hour limit and you're looking to pull out of the side road. And you know it's a 30 mile an hour limit, so you rightfully assume that the traffic is doing 30 miles an hour. So you wait for a gap big enough to pull out safely, only to find out that the person you just pulled out in front of wasn't doing 30 mile an hour, they were doing 60, and there's a big accident. And they'll say it's your fault for pulling out on them. And I've had it happen several times on my bike as well, where people either don't see you're on the bike because you're apparently invisible, or they assume you're doing like 5 and they just pull out when you're actually going downhill and you're doing near a 20 mile an hour or over a 20 mile an hour. And then they get this shocked look on their face when they look back to the right, and all of a sudden the bike that was a long way away is now right on top of them and braking hard and trying to avoid them. And they don't go, oh, put their foot down and pull up quicker. They stop. Yeah. Hey ho. Enough of me ranting about poor driving. Come on, look, there's 3 people here. One of them is probably Linkbot. So, who are the other 2? Come on, say hello. Introduce yourselves. Or I'm just going to sit here randomly waffling and smoking for a bit until I really run out of stuff to talk about. Then I'll stop the stream and I'll go do something else. You know. Yeah, what else have I been up to? What else has been annoying me, winding me up? Not a lot really of late. It's been fairly chill. Generally, most of the time, I'm not alert enough to notice that something should annoy me or upset me. It's getting dark earlier now, so it will be dark by the time I finish my stream. When I go till 8 o'clock, which means therefore the nosy bint just down the road from me has had to pull me aside and tell me about leaving. I shouldn't leave my lights on when I go to work because I'm wasting electricity, and that will cost me lots of money. I'm not leaving the lights on. What she's seeing is fish tank lights, and she still can't get it through her head that live plants need light. And I have live plants in my fish tanks, so therefore the lights need to be on a certain amount of time a day. Tommy, how you doing, you spexy beast? Wow. Dixie, hello. Hug. Oh, and Tommy, hug. Seriously, is that all it took for the camera to lose its focus? Flipping great. Oh, I'm alright. It's just every other bugger. Huge. Oh, I assume you mean hug. Yeah. Let's see if we can get this camera to actually focus in roughly the right place, shall we? No, it'll figure itself out at some point. Or people will just think I'm on potato cam again. Let me get out the shot. That normally works. Ugh. Are you going to focus on anything now, camera? I'm assuming it's the camera not focusing and not just my eyesight going. Ugh. Where is the camera focus to? Real close. I'm just going to stick a slipper in front of it. Good job Tommy's not here, or he'd be getting all excited. Tink. There we go. Sometimes the autofocus just randomly focuses on something silly. I think it's normally if I do hugs, it focuses on my hands and doesn't really autofocus. Yeah, I know Sam will get all excited about me taking my slippers off. The fact that I've not got any socks on will probably get him going. He'll be sad he's missed it. Bloody technology, huh? Why can't we go back to proper optical focus and zoom? You know, when it actually worked. Oh, well, I've not got Fred Flintstone feet. Um, I mean, they're sort of rather small and petite. Um, I would say hobbit, but too small to be a hobbit's feet. Most of the women I work with have got bigger feet than I have. So the fact that I don't fall over all the time is quite miraculous. Um, I think I've said it before. I do wear shoes that are a couple of sizes, well, 2.5 sizes too big for me. But I've got used to it now. So if I wear shoes that are the right size, they're really uncomfortable. I'm used to my feet sliding around left, right, forward, and backwards inside my shoes. Which apparently is very inefficient. Yeah, but it's more comfortable. And I don't look extremely top heavy. Flintstone mobile, yes. Right, here's one. Actually, Tommy, you might be able to figure this one out. Exercise bikes. Match your hands then, don't they? Yeah, exercise bikes. Why do they need to be plugged into a wall? Okay, so these days they've got a screen on them and they're a computer and programmable and stuff. But are exercise bike manufacturers unfamiliar with the concept of a dynamo or a generator? Because surely, if you just fitted a dynamo into the back wheel or into the wheel, because most exercise bikes do only have one wheel, pardon me, then as someone is cycling, that would produce enough power to power the screen and any other stuff you need to do. Because I did some very complicated maths earlier this week. I know, deal with it. And I worked out, I mean, kind of on averages. So we're not talking absolutely precise. But for me to cycle at my average speed, which is 13 mile an hour, I'm producing on average, assuming a flat, straight road, no headwind or tailwind, I'm producing 130 watts. So that is plenty enough to power quite a lot of electrical stuff. You know, it's enough power to run a Fluval Flex with the heater and the light on and the pump. So why can't they just put a battery inside the exercise bike so it's got enough power to start itself up, and then the rest of it just runs on the electric that you generate by pedaling? Surely that makes more sense. Or is there some reason? Someone hit me with their car. I'm a Smurf. Oh no! I mean, covered in bruises and black and blue all over. Yeah, but it'd be cheaper. It would be cheaper because you don't have to then, you know, put in all the stuff and the power cable to run it from 240 or 110 volt. And you could have exactly the same model worldwide, because it wouldn't matter what voltage is coming out of the wall, because the thing is generating its own power. The person using it is generating the power. And a simple dynamo. I had a dynamo on a bike back in the 80s. Admittedly, it wasn't a very good one. It barely powered a pair of lights. But these days, dynamos are much more efficient, produce much more power, and also electronics are far more efficient. So, I hope you got no kind of long-term issues, Mark, and you're not too badly hurt. You're just a bit bruised and battered. But get well soon, because a lot of bruising can be really painful, especially if it's in places you like to lay on or sit on. I say this as someone who's broken their coccyx in the past. Yes, broken many a bone. And I mean, I've not done a collarbone, but I understand they can be really painful. But yeah, ribs and coccyx were the worst. Actually, breaking my ankle didn't hurt that much, mind you. That might have been because I was on large amounts of opium for the pain. I think it was more the soft tissue damage that actually hurt. Yep. So, what, they run you over, pull out in front of you? Oh, you're on your bike. Oh, well, so long as you're okay, that's the most important thing. The bike can be replaced. And I'm going to guess it's going to be front wheel, possibly forks, and depending on how badly it went, maybe back wheel as well. As long as the frame's not cracked, the rest of it should be relatively easy to replace. And it's one of those things where their insurance will pay out. Might take a while, but they will. It's also whether they understand about the cost of bikes. As I have heard of some people having bike crashes involving cars where it's the car's fault, and the insurance company's been like, yes, but you can buy a new bike for this much. Like, yeah, you can, but you shouldn't. Yes, but my bike costs this much. Looking at his son's bit black and blue, but okay. Yeah, I mean, I say, as long as you're okay, just bruised and a bit sore, you'll soon heal up from that. It'll be annoying for a bit, for sure, but it goes to show you're going at a sensible speed. Yeah. Oh, you never know. You might be able to get a new bike out of it. I mean, if the frame's damaged, then it's definitely new bike day. And then to replace at a similar level, I'm not saying try and screw them over, but get what you can out of it. So if the frame is twisted or cracked, then it's not rideable anymore. And yes, so thankfully, and touch wood, I've not had any bad crashes. I had one minor one on the Pedder's Way, and other than that, the last time I had a crash on my bike, I was about 15, maybe 16. And I hate to think how many thousands of miles I've done since then. But that is generally the issue I have. Is it's not the traffic that's coming past me, it's the traffic that pulls out in front of me. They're generally the issues I have. At least now your sons know why they should wear a helmet. Yeah, that'll need replacing as well. Even if you didn't bang your head, you'll need to, yeah, you get a new helmet out of it as well. Because they're a one-use item. It's not something you risk because you may not have damaged the helmet visibly, and you may not have banged your head and noticed it. That doesn't mean it's not cracked somewhere, and if you need to use it again, it won't work. Um, yeah, generally from what I've heard, car insurance companies are quite happy to pay for most bike-related incidents. Usually, because it's going to cost them a lot less money than if it had been a car. Um, unless it's some super high-end bike. Yes. It's one of those things where they might just write the bike off if the cost of it, if it, cost of the replacement parts is worth more than a new bike, then they might just write the bike off, as it were, and then you can get websites and go into your local bike shop and figuring out what you would like. And maybe put a little bit of extra money towards it if you can, and get something a bit posher. Which, yeah, I'm not one for going for posh and expensive. Pretty much anything, really. Generally, well, I haven't been for quite a while. I've not been since I stopped working full time, really. Although saying that, the model kits I used to buy, yeah, they weren't the cheap ones. Um, but that was more of a value for money thing. To me, why pay 30 quid for a model kit that I can build in a day when I can spend 60 quid on one that's going to take me 2 weeks to build? The painting and the weathering is going to take the same amount of time no matter what. Uh, yeah. And so I've basically no-noed the idea of a drop bike now, because I figured out something about my pelvis. The reason why my hips dislocate, I was doing some experimenting. So I thought, well, let's try getting into a sort of more tucked position. So resting my forearms on the ends of the handlebars and getting down. I'm like, why am I rocking so badly? And I don't feel right. So then with a bit of ingenuity, some tinfoil and some carpet, I figured it out. Because I was born with clicking hips, the reason they click or dislocate easily is because part of my pelvis just doesn't exist. I've known it for ages about my shoulders. The reason they dislocate is because the joint isn't properly formed. It seems it's the same with the center of my pelvis, the sacroiliac crest, is it something like that, or tuberosities? Well, the bit that you normally sit on when you're sitting upright is there. Right, that's fine. I can sit upright on a bike and pedal all day long, no problems. Stable, it's just my legs going up and down, body barely moves. As soon as I tilt forward, I'm not sitting on my pelvic bone anymore. I'm sitting on my femoral heads, so the tops of my femurs. So every time I pedal, I'm rocking seriously because it's my femurs going up and down on the saddle. So yeah, I can't ride a bike where you're leaning forwards. Not comfortably anyway. So we've poo-pooed that idea. So if I am going to get a bike upgrade at some point in the future, it will be another hybrid. And I don't really see the point unless I win the lottery or I'm spending thousands. I don't really want to spend thousands on a bike, because then if you do crash it, it's going to cost you a lot to repair it. And expensive ones are more likely to be stolen. So yeah, might as be a case of just upgrade stuff as it wears out or breaks. Thought something was weird. Oh, I'm not sure. Well, I know what the next upgrades I want to make are, and it's going to mean two things to replace one. Because I want to fit a suspension stem to the bike. So basically, the handlebars will go up and down. Spring parallelogram-y thing. But in order to fit one of those, that means I won't be using the stem I'm currently using, which lifts my bars vertically. So I then got to get a set of sort of riser bar, roll granny type bars, so that even though they're going to be further away, I can then lean them back and get handlebars in the right position again. But that should then cut out most, if not all, the vibrations. That is what is sending my hands to sleep. Although I did 18 mile yesterday and my hands didn't go to sleep, but I did stop a couple of times. Actually 3 times. Once for a wee, once for something to eat. Actually no, 4 times. Once for a quick wee, once at a shop to grab something to eat and drink. Then moved on from there to the church to sit down and eat and drink. And then again halfway back for a ciggy. So that might be why my hands didn't go numb, because I didn't do more than about 7 mile without stopping. Most of the stops weren't more than a couple of minutes, but a couple of minutes is a couple of minutes of allowing the blood to flow and things to start working again. Yeah, that's the plan for that. It might make the bike look a bit weird, but if it's more comfortable and I don't get any numbness, I don't care. It's like, your bike looks weird, yes, but I'm comfortable. And I can ride all day without getting any numbness in my hands or my butt or my feet. But but yeah, I'm not stopping because I'm sore or I'm tired. I'm stopping because I fancy stopping. just to have a ciggy or something to eat or a drink. Yeah. So other than that, there's not really an awful lot I can would upgrade. Maybe some lighter wheels. That's about it, I think. A lighter rack. It's got a suspension fork on it, but I'm not entirely sure that does a lot. It just sort of absorbs some of the bigger lumps and bumps, but you still feel them through the handlebars, just slightly later than when you did hit them. Yeah, we will see. I mean, heck, if I'm replacing the wheels, I may as well see if I can go for ones that maybe even have dynamo built into them. Because the dynamo these days is mounted inside the hub of the wheel rather than the thing you click over that rubs against the tyre. And then I wouldn't have to worry about charging my lights. I could charge them on my bike as I'm riding. Charge cameras and phones and things as well while I'm riding, but that's a lot of extra expense for just not having to charge things up. Yeah, I think we run that one to the bone. Fishies. Has anything much happened fishy wise? The Amicus splendens fry are growing well, and both the females are heavily pregnant again, so we should have more Amicus splendens fry soon. I'm pretty sure now, because it's been about 6 months, that I do only have either male or female shell dwellers left, because I'm not getting any more fry. So we might have to move them on at some point. Shrimp are doing shrimpy things in all 3 tanks. Limia are doing Limia things, multiplying alarmingly. Flex are plecking. Bert and Ernie are doing Bert and Ernie things. Barbs are barbing, loaches are loaching. Nanakaras and Nanakara-ing. Yeah, we're all doing good. I suppose at some point I really should just do an update video on what's going on with the tanks, but we'll leave it at that for now. Because I really don't know how the heck you're supposed to sex a shell dweller to see whether it's a male or a female. I don't actually think there's any difference between them. You probably can't even remotely tell when they're the size you'd buy them in a store. Hey. You right down there, little one? Yeah. So what else we got we can waffle about? Yeah. Getting dark earlier now and light later. We've gone from it being lighter. I mean, the shortest day, June 21st, yeah, round about that time, it gets light at about 3:30, 4 in the morning. It doesn't get dark till gone 10:30 at night. And already in September, so not that long after, it's not getting light now till 6 in the morning, and it's getting dark by 8. And it's just getting darker and darker and darker. And pretty soon we'll be in winter, and it won't be getting light much before 7:30, and it'll be getting dark by 4. And if Daniel was around, he'd be getting even shorter days. Marriott certainly. Must be weird living near the equator and days and nights are the same length all year round. It's got to be weird not having seasons. Yeah, not for me. I wouldn't like to go so far north that you get the periods where it's dark all day or light all day. That would just throw my brain for a complete curveball. It's like the people who go to visit Lapland in December. It's like, you do realize it's basically dark 24 hours a day that time of the year. We're going to see Santa. You ain't going to see much. It's going to be dark. Enjoy the reindeer. Yum. Yeah, I'll stick with England. Weather's good. And we get the occasional nasty bit in the summer where it gets too hot. Other than that, it's okay. There aren't any animals that are really looking to try and kill you or eat you. Most of the others aren't venomous or poisonous. Yeah, good place. And even then, I'd still stay in Norfolk because I like Norfolk. Not too hilly, not too busy, not too many people about. Nice slow pace of life. And it's one of those places where people don't tend to come because for some reason they think it's going to be boring and flat. It's not. Well, I have been tempted to like comment on some of the reaction channels, reactions, where they sort of, Americans watching videos about the UK and England and whatever, and go, yeah, don't forget Norfolk exists. People tend not to come this way. And London, and then they go north or west. They tend not to come too far east. It's a completely different place. Could even be a completely different country. It's that different. And we're rapidly losing people. So yeah. There's a piece of algae. What are you scared of algae for? Should we give you some food? Should we go with feed the fishies? I think we shall. Let's see the carnage that occurs when we do feed the fish. Oof. Ow. We're ready. Linears. Still some floating around in the Shelly tank. So, at the risk of confusing the camera again, I'm going to shut the lid, never mind. Let's have a look. The camera's all tabled up. There we are. Whee! Feeding frenzy. And it's never going to focus on the Shellies. Shell dollars stay at the bottom, they never come up in the water. Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're just hoovering up the last remnants. It's basically all gone already. Look, we've got escapee plaque. That whistle nose shouldn't be in there. Yeah. Corridors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Oh, 9. There we go. All the quarries. Oh, there's one of the pepper quarries. Yeah. Oh. Here comes Bert. Oh, yeah, you're asleep. You missed out on the food, buddy. It's all gone. And time to go back to sleep. People tell me my tank's overstocked. I don't think it is. Look at that foul Corey. Look at the size of her. Yeah, another female. I'm saying the cloud of baby limia. They're all over the place. The adults doing all sorts, and yes, all the females are pregnant. So despite there being probably at least 100 baby limia there, there's even more on the way. And let's watch the camera not focus again. Oh, it did. So there we go. That's what's occurring in the two closest tanks anyway, the ones I can really point the camera at. But as time goes on, at some point I will film a all tanks update. There's not a huge amount going on over there. It's just placo's growing. There we go. Oh. What else? It's that time of the year again in the UK. The only downside to the wildlife in the UK. This is the time of the year when the spiders want to come indoors, specifically the wolf spiders or the house spiders, whatever you want to call them. You know, the ones that hide up all day and you don't see them until about 10 minutes before you go to bed, and then you decide they're going to run across the floor in front of you. Or just before you turn the lights out, you spot one sitting on your pillow. And then by the time you get there to splat it, it's run and hid somewhere. And you spend the next 15 minutes trying to find it. Howdy, Tom, you mad mower, lost in the grass? You're getting a bit long, is it? So I'd bring you over here, you can do mine. Although there's not a lot of grass, you wouldn't need a mower. You wouldn't even need a weed whacker. You need a brush cutter. Which is why it's taken me quite a while to get through it using a pair of secateurs. Yes, I've got a hedge trimmer. I could use that to trim the brambles and stuff. But then you end up with a load of bits of bramble lying around, and you still chop them up into little bits so you can get them in the bin. Well, they only empty it every fortnight, so you have to kind of make sure that you get as much in it as you can, especially if you're clearing an overgrown mess of a garden. I've still not found the Japanese sniper from World War II yet, though, so he might still be out there. It really wouldn't surprise me if I start finding random skeletal remains and stuff out there. Wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the last, but I've got to remember to be careful where I dig, because there are 2 cats out there and we don't want to disturb them. Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get it all cleared out and then get the fence replaced and all repaired and job done. Hopefully I'll manage to get it done before the weather turns nasty and you start getting the storms come through and all the fences are busy. So you end up going with the only person that isn't busy, and the reason they're not busy is because they charge a fortune. Yeah. So yes. What else we got to think about? Yeah, what changes tomorrow? I'm actually off Tuesday and Wednesday this week, so be an early bike ride. And let me think. Some research and looking into handlebars. It's a minefield. It's finding one that's the right width, the right height, with the right diameters. It isn't ridiculously expensive or ridiculously heavy, and it's actually in stock and will take less than 3 months to turn up. My phone is going crazy. I have no idea why. I'm presuming it's because I didn't go to today's meeting at work. Yeah. Would have got paid for it, but still. I don't want to be going to work for an hour and a half on a Sunday for no real reason, other than for a team briefing about some random guff that nobody actually cares about outside of upper management. Yeah, so that's just in the how do I put it? The non-work chat. The one that none of the managers are in, let's put it that way. Yeah, everyone's basically going to go, what a waste of time that was. So yes, I've just been sat in the canteen watching a video about what's coming up for the company in the next few months and year. You know, like anyone actually cares? No. So it remains to be seen whether I'll have to sit and watch it on my own, or whether I'll just get out of it again this year. I turned up the first year for it, where they did full work on the Sunday, so that was okay. I was like, yeah, I can just about manage that. And I basically just fell asleep. Yeah, so that weren't too bad because I was asleep for most of it. And I just didn't bother with last year's. I was like, what's the point? I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm gonna find out some new stuff I need to know. And like, it's one of those things where if they just did an email or a print out of a piece of paper on the actual useful information on there could be easily put on one side of A4 in large font. You know, rather than having to sit there and watch at least an hour-long video with a. Now, and I say this as a content creator, an hour-long video with a bunch of people presenting it who aren't used to being on camera, are as stiff as a board, or they're consciously trying to be up and with it. They just can't stay still. So you're like, oh, just bloody stand still, crying out loud, or sit down. It's constantly on the go with the hands moving around you. Just stay still. Just tell me what you got to say and bugger off. Yes, I know Captain Rambly Waffly here, who could probably most of my videos, probably 2 or 3 minutes, would cover everything I was going to go through in the video, but I somehow make them last 15, 20. But they're reading from a script. I'm making it up as I go. I don't get it. And it's all professionally produced as well. You think they could at least find people that, Hello, Shadow. I saw you. Yes, I saw you hiding around the corner. Do you come and say hello? No, it's all right. I'm just talking to a ghost. You'd think with all the people in the company, there's nearly 1,000 stores countrywide. You think they could at least find some people who are able to be on camera and not be either dull as dishwater or just hugely annoying? People who could have a script and riff off of it, not just read it verbatim. It's especially bad when they're wearing the polo shirts and they've got them buttoned all the way up. You're like, oh, nobody does that with a polo. At most, you do up the first button or two just to like cover up the chest hair, but you don't do the one up around your neck, surely. The only reason you ever do that button up on a shirt is if you're wearing a tie. And you don't wear a tie with a polo shirt. Not even Avril Lavigne wears a tie with a polo shirt. She wears it with a vest or a wife beater or a tank top, whatever you want to call it. And then it's loose. Or was, I should say. I have no idea. Right. What else is it? Have I got anything else I can waffle about that's remotely interesting to anybody? Probably not. One thing. So the 64-litre tank, or was that 17, 18-gallon tank? Let's call it a 20. That the Amica Splendens are in, and Doug, the 0144 bristle nose. I'm thinking about something else to go in there. Now, it has to be something that's not going to eat the fry and not going to annoy the bristle nose, because I'm still on the lookout for a female. So, thinking maybe some kind of corridor, something lower dwelling, bottom dwelling kind of, or maybe possibly coolie loaches, something like that. If anyone's got any ideas on cool bottom dwelling ish, but kind of out and about lively type fish that aren't going to predate on fry, let me know. And if you're watching on the repeat, oh my god, how American am I sounding? On the repeat, stick it down in the comments down below. And while you're there, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well. So yeah. Yeah. Far up, yes. It's a thinking stick. Helps me think. And yes, I know you can tell I've been smoking for far too long, so I can speak completely normally with a cigarette in my mouth without it falling out. Actually, that was an amusing one this week, work. One of the young lads that we got, poke smart. I used to, I don't anymore. Costs too much, mostly. And even if I did use it just for the times when I'm struggling to sleep, then I end up needing more and more of it to have the same effect. And yeah, Where was I? I had something to talk about there for a moment. Yeah, one of the lads at work, it's like, how do you manage to smoke while you cycle? Oh, well, I'll just put the ciggy in my mouth and cycle. Yeah, but that must be really hard to pedal and smoke at the same time because your lungs. I'm like, my lungs are used to working on a diet consisting mostly of smoke. I'm like, it's not like all the air I'm taking in is coming directly through the cigarette. I'm like, I can breathe and the cigarette doesn't change at all. Apparently that's a mind-blowing concept, that you can control your breathing. Quit 15 years ago, and it was hellish for the first year. Cigarettes I did quit once, and then realised I was quitting for all the wrong reasons, and just started up again because I enjoy it. It's that simple. Yeah, the other, yeah, it was getting too much money wise, and I was getting dependent. It was at the point where I couldn't go to sleep unless I'd had the smoke, and you know, you can't always necessarily get hold of it. These days you kind of can, but you start out, well, I'll just have a little one before I go to bed, then I'll have a good night's sleep. Well, that one doesn't. That works for a bit, and then then that stops working. So you need to either have it stronger or another one. And then, yeah, before you know it, you're just in that routine of, well, I've not got to do anything. Might as well have one. And then before you know it, it starts getting stupid expensive. But yeah, I've not had. Yeah, before I met Mary, it's probably 10 years since I last had weed. So I've got no idea how much it costs these days. I don't even want to know. No, so trees, fire, smoke, thumbs up, headphones, scissors, seedling, race car, muscle, cool. In other words, you're not lost in the grass anymore, Tom. You're just obliterating it. With the use of lots of power and petrol, gasoline. I'm guessing you're not using a rechargeable or a plug-in mower. Kicking grass and taking dandelions. 40-year habit of talking about tobacco. Yeah, I've smoked tobacco since I was 13-ish, maybe a bit younger, 12, 13. So getting on for 40 years, fueled by dead dinosaurs. Um, yeah, I know all the stuff, so I know it's bad for me. Hell, they put it on all the packaging. I've got to at least have something in my life to look forward to. Cigarettes, energy drinks. Yes, I know they're not healthy, but I'm not going to look forward to a stick of celery. Or a smoothie or a protein shake or whatever. Yeah, my body runs on caffeine, sugar, and nicotine. The rest is just there to bulk it out. I've not done any drugs for 10 years and probably another 10 years. So I quit drinking 22 years ago. And in those 22 years, I have had one beer, one small bottle of beer, that is, and one small bottle of cider, which I didn't even finish. And then about a year before that, I stopped the other drugs. Not good looking from a dad for setting the chicken house on fire. Fair enough. Yeah, I got in trouble because I didn't exactly have a lot of money. And not having a sense of smell, I didn't realise that smoke smelled, or to the extent that it kind of lingered and people could smell it. So I was smoking in my bedroom, leaning out the bedroom window, and then flicking the ciggy butts out the window. Roll-ups. Couldn't afford ready-mades. And then I got caught. And what did I get caught for? I think I got caught for something else. I was getting in trouble for something else. And whatever it was something ungodly, apparently. So my foster dad got my Bible off of my bureau, because obviously I had to have a Bible, and he went looking through it for the exact verse or whatever it was that he was going to quote scripture at me about what I'd done wrong. And then realised there were pages missing. It was like, why are there pages missing from your Bible? Yeah, I've been smoking them because I ran out of cigarette papers. Hello, Crazy for Seahorses. How you doing? What a good time to turn up just on talking about smoking the Bible. So yeah, I got in a bit of trouble for that one. How's it going, Raina? Hope all is well. Yeah, that was not good times. I can't even remember what I was originally getting in trouble for. Something random and pointless. Yeah, I was breathing in the Holy Spirit. Exactly. Closer to God than they ever were. Let's be honest, they didn't go up. As Christian and religious as they were, there ain't a chance in hell they went upwards. Fine, there's always a lot of work with the baby seahorses. Oh, cute. It's like about baby fish, they're a lot less work, usually. Well, some of them are anyway. You just got to remember to feed them, which is what I think happened to the last lot of Sheldweller fry. Whoops. Yeah, given the front my foster parents put on to everyone about how religious and wonderful they weren't. They liked to claim they were, but yeah, definitely weren't. Yeah, they kind of completely missed the point about a lot of things. Then they wondered why they never wanted. I never wanted to see them again. Water changes twice a day, 3 times a day, like baby brine. Two of the angels are spawned and got eggs 3 days later. Ooh, they're close to being hatches. I say it can take some fish several goes to realise not to eat their own eggs. Yeah, if you've still got them there 3 days later and the angels haven't eaten them and no one else has, it means that there's a chance you may well get inundated with baby angelfish. So if you've not got fried food, I would suggest some. I'd go with either the liquefy powdered flake or the Hikari first bites. I find them both of those go well. To make 1.5 litres of baby brine a day. Oh, that's a lot of baby brine shrimp. But given how much seahorses sell for, it's worth it. It's one of those things where you make the investment to start with, and then it pays off big time at the back end. Yeah, kind of the exact opposite of, let's say, guppies, where you can feed them pretty much anything and they look after themselves. Very young parents, many are white or infertile. Yes, maybe, but they're not eating them, which is always a good sign. They might eat the fry. It might take them a few more goes to figure that out, but they're getting there. At some point, you'll be overrun with baby angelfish going, help! I've got 300 angelfish. What the heck am I supposed to do? Find a local fish shop that's going to take them. Yeah, so guppies, easy to breed, just add water and food. Doesn't even have to be good food. You can make more guppies with the cheapest flake on the market. Oh, well done to you. You must be doing something right, because they're obviously happy and healthy enough that they're doing the breedies. Howdy, Jeff. How you doing? Of the Empire of Dirt, which always reminds me of the lyric from the Johnny Cash version of Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. Exactly, be very stoked. I mean, I remember way back when, however many years ago it was, 6 or 7 years ago, when I first had baby platties swimming around in the tank. I was over the moon. Yeah, 5 seahorses is still worth quite a bit of money. So don't go knocking it yet. Tom was gone for a bit, listening, turned front porch, half of it into a catio. Ooh, awesome. Somewhere for the puddies to play about and sleep and argue and lick their bits. Yeah, that's like, if it's your first time breeding something, it's always exciting, and I'm not going to knock people for it. I mean, you do kind of get to a point where if you've bred something a lot of times successfully, you kind of get a bit blasé about it. You're like, oh, great, another 150 bristle noses. What am I going to do with them? Yeah, it's always exciting. You're making new life in your tanks, which is kind of miraculous, really. But as I was saying, yeah, like guppies are easy to produce, easy to make, breeding by the hundreds, but you're only going to get pennies for them unless you manage to sell them to people who fall for whatever silly name they've been given. A guppy's a guppy. Any of the fish stores around here, you go into it, all the guppies are the same price. They're all they've probably gone up now because it's been a long time since I bought any guppies. Yeah, but they're still guppies, so they're still. Last time I had guppies, they were $2.95 each, whichever flavour you went for, and you were lucky if you got 20 pence back on them per fish that you bred. And I'd buy some posh strains. I had some white ones. I had snake skins and mosaics and whatever other weird names they call them. But yeah, a guppy's a guppy. If you're selling them to an LFS, it's a guppy. It's only if you're selling them online yourself to other guppy breeders. All the guppy fry in the tank die, but the shrimp in the tank fine. Well, the shrimp are probably feeding on the dead guppy fry. That might be a food thing. It might be the adults eating them because that does happen quite a lot with live bearers, especially things like guppies. The limia tend not to, and the Amica splendens tend not to. Platies didn't either, judging by the amount of platies I made out of one pair. I never had howdy Mikey Myers, 3 weeks old. Yeah, so still not at the point where they're not necessarily independent, but they're still not eating adult sized foods. So it is very easy to have Fry kick the bucket because I've not got enough food. Yeah, Bristlenose is getting the sense. Yeah, thankfully, my LFS does understand that locally bred fish do much better than the ones they buy in from wherever. Pure and Shrimple is here as well. How you doing, Marie? Yeah, that was it. As I said, I'm bad with names. Yeah, so like last time I was talking to them, they're like, yeah, we get super reds in and we have nothing but problems with them. They just die for no reason. We get yours, and it's the same with the standard bristlenoses as well. They get them in and half of them die. But with yours, they just keep growing and growing, and they don't die. I'm like, yeah, have you tried testing the water they come in? He's like, what? Well, it might be that they're being bred in pure RO or very close to pure RO water. So when you stick them in our local water, that might be the issue. That they're used to RO or very low pH or very low hardness. You stick them in our local water and it's like liquid rock. And they don't like it. The African cichlids are fine. The South American cichlids don't tend to do too well. He said he was actually going to test the water in the bags that they come in. Hello, Debs. Hug for Debs and hug for Marie as well. That's something I'll not always do. But when I get fish from a shop let's just a new shop, or go to a shop for the first time and I buy some fish, I will test the bag water, not for ammonia and nitrate or nitrite. I ain't gonna bother with that because that's pointless. I might do a nitrate test because that'll tell me just how polluted the water is in the shop. But I will do pH, GH, and KH before I put the fish into a tank. If they're relatively close, then yeah, in you go. If there's a semi-decent difference between my tank water and, let's say, they have been in RO water and they're pH 7, very low hardness, then I'll drip acclimate them for a bit in the bucket and just get them a bit used to the harder water. And if they're in really soft water, well, then I'll drain some out of whichever quarantine tank they're going in, get some magical butt water out of the back garden and soften it that way, and then drip acclimate. Obviously, a store hasn't got the time to sit there and test all the bags and drip acclimate the fish and blah, blah, blah. So that's not going to happen. Hello, Bob. Hugs. Never had a guppy die off. Lucky enough that the first ones I bought probably hobby bred, and all the others were my club or friends. Yeah, it's a kind of a proven fact. We all know it, really, don't we? That if you can buy fish that are bred locally in local water, especially hobby bred, they tend to do a heck of a lot better than the ones you buy from a store that have been bred in a fish farm somewhere. So because they're used to A, being in a tank, and B, they're used to the local water. Depends, we usually drip everything because the fish are expensive. Yeah. Yeah. If you're dealing with something, marine fish, which are usually about 10 times the price of fresh water, then yeah, it makes sense. You want to make sure all your stock survives. If you've had a shipment turn up, and my LFS, their shipments are large, talking box upon box upon box upon box, bag upon bag upon bag upon bag in each box. Yeah, they haven't got the time to be checking and drip acclimating. It's like, right, these ones can go in this tank, these ones go in this tank, these ones go in this tank. And while we remember, we'll write on the tank what they are. Howdy, Arnold. How you doing? Don't worry, I won't hug you. Unless you want a hug, then you can have a hug. What I don't like are the breather bags because you can't float them. Oh, the breather bags, yeah, they're kind of, and they make sense for shipping, especially if you're shipping from a long distance or for a long time. So if you're buying online, then yes, breather bags do make sense. But because you can't float them, you do then need to put the fish in a bucket and basically drip acclimate because you've got no other way of doing it. I mean, if you're buying from a local shop store that you know their water parameters are similar to yours, then you just float the bag for 10 or 20 minutes and then pop the fish in the tank, job done. But yeah, if you're buying online, it's a completely different kettle of fish. But you've got to be a lot more careful. Mikey Myers going to do some water changes, listening and lurking. Well, isn't that what Mike Myers does? Lurks in the shadows. He just appears in the background. Shortly before he murders someone with a machete. So if we go without the machete murders, the rest of it's cool. Yes. So sometimes getting new fish and getting them into a quarantine tank, easy. Other times it's a lot more work. Problem is, you don't necessarily know what kind of level of work is going to be involved until you get home. I mean, if I get fish from my LFS, Mary Drives, so we're home in less than 30 minutes since they got bagged up, and they've spent the entire car journey in bags aren't here, but in thermally insulated bags. I really shouldn't need to do anything. I should just be able to pop them straight into a tank, but I don't. I do give them at least 20 minutes temp acclimation. Now, the best thing is about having marine tanks, not having to do so many water changes. But we've got water for baby brine shrimp. Yeah, there is that. After all the years of fish keeping, I'm really good at it. The off topic, speaking of machetes, guy at Home Depot near me filled a cart with machetes and walked out the door. Strangely, no one tried to stop him. I wonder why. So, what state are you in, Barbara? Because I'll keep an eye out for, new serial killers that turn up. Keep an ear out for a sudden burst of machete murderers, where the murderer just leaves the machete with the body. Yeah. Why did you always leave the machete with the body? Well, because I stole an entire cartful from Home Depot. Or Home Depot, as it would be in the UK. State with no guns. I don't think such a thing exists, does it? Maybe Hawaii. Or Hawaii, or however it's pronounced these days. Ever since the thing kicked off in Ukraine, which we always used to call the Ukraine, but is now just Ukraine. It's no, that happened. Then it was, well, we can't call it Kiev anymore because we've been calling it that for donkey's years. But apparently it's pronounced Kiev, so we're going to call it that now, and whatever they're now. So I don't know. It's like I don't understand that sometimes things in different languages are pronounced differently. Employees actually not allowed to stop shoplifters as a local store employee was killed. Yeah, it's the same everywhere. It's not just the US, it's over here as well. We're told don't be a hero, it's not worth it. Like my oh dear. I like my Kiev filled with garlic butter. Says the guy who doesn't eat chicken. Yeah, I've not had a chicken Kiev for donkey's years. But yeah, we're told don't be a hero, don't try and stop a shoplifter. If you can, just make a note of their license plate and get them on the CCTV, because funny enough, basically every shop has CCTV these days. And it's like some people still don't realise that they're on camera the moment they walk into a shop or any public space. What are you trying to do in the background, computer? You're probably trying to do an update. There's all the YouTube notifications just came through. At least it's trying to do it near the end of the stream though, not at the start. Yeah, so we're told no, don't confront shoplifters. I mean, if you notice that they're shoplifting, let them notice that you've noticed that they're doing it, because that's usually enough for people to stop and put the stuff back or drop it and run. But yeah, don't be a hero. Just the stock's not worth that much. You'll do yourself and the company far more good if you do. No, just do what you're trained to do. Oh, that's what's going on, is it? It's finally woken up and decided that I need Messenger open. Okay, well that can bugger off, because I don't need my Facebook Messenger open. Go away, thank you. Yeah, it's built into the prices as well. Exactly. Thankfully, we don't get too much of it, but we're not the kind of store that you can walk around the shelves. That should, yeah, we've got stuff front of house, mostly quite cheap. Stuff that's on offer or things that people buy a lot of, like caulk or sealant or standard plumbing parts, that kind of stuff. And yeah, everything else is behind the counter, and you order it and we go get it. That doesn't mean we don't have customers think they can just walk through, and there's more than once we've found someone just walking around in the racking, looking very confused as to why things aren't like on shelves with prices. And You then point out, no, it's not that kind of shop. You don't come in and look around. In days gone by, you looked through the catalogue and found what you needed. And these days we have tablets set up so that you can just browse through the website on the tablet in store if you want to. Or you can come to the till and ask. Or you can order it online via the website or the app. Yeah, it was always a bit of a surprise when you randomly find someone walking around in the warehouse. You shouldn't be back here. Why not? I'm just looking around. Yeah, no, it's not safe for you to be back here. Yeah, they did. Grocery stores were like that. You just had to watch Open All Hours, which was 1970s British sitcom. Yeah, basically all the expensive stuff was behind the counter. You went into the grocery store and you either knew what you wanted and said it, or you gave the person behind the counter a list and they went and got everything for you. I think it's probably a better way of doing it for the businesses, at least. Yes, you do have to have more staff because you have to have the staff picking the orders, but you do get a lot less losses, and things are far more efficient. But then you don't get people randomly picking up odd things that I fancy some of that, which is how grocery stores make their money. Let's be honest. It's the extras that you get that you didn't really need and you didn't really want, but you just walked past and saw it and thought, oh yeah, fancy some of that. Keith, how you doing? How's it going? Good. Yeah, it's probably only people my age and older like that remember when you'd go into a store and you wouldn't just be able to go in and shop at your leisure. You'd go in there knowing what you wanted and you'd come out with what you wanted. You'd spend a lot less money as well. And I try to do that when I do go food shopping, grocery shopping, whatever you want to call it. Is that I don't have a list because I know what I buy every week. Say every week, most weeks. It's only if it's those things that just, you run out of, occasionally start running out, and you've got to remember to get. So you run out of washing up liquid. Self-service grocery started in cities around the 1920s. I think Sainsbury, or J. Sainsbury, was the first to do it in the UK. I forget when that was. It was post-war anyway. Gio just sold on the phone baby Malaclemy's Terrapin Centrata for €300. Nice. Pardon me. Probably smells like what a terrapin's going to produce. Yeah, it was late 40s, maybe even the 50s that it started in the UK. And then it was literally just grocery stores. gradually spread to everywhere. I've got to say, it's certainly easier working in a retail environment where the customers aren't in the shop, as it were. We call it the warehouse. They're not walking around the shelving. Want a pair they can handle salt water. Nah, my pond is too small for a terrapin. Or a turtle of any description. Yeah. 5 goldfish in there is plenty enough when you add in the frogs and the snails and everything else that lives in there. Well, I think I might have some baby goldfish, which would be cool. Nightmare to catch, but it'd be cool to have some baby goldfish. Yeah, they are rather messy. Well, I mean, I'm used to dealing with upwards of 1,000 bristlenose plecos, so bit of poop isn't going to bother me. Yeah. So I think they're baby goldfish because there are, to my knowledge, there is only goldfish in the pond. There might be other fish in there. I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a bristlenose and some cherry shrimp in there, but that's another story. Yeah. I assume they're baby goldfish. I haven't got any colour on them yet, and they're this year's, so they're. I just saw a couple of little fishy shapes dying about that weren't semi-adult comets. Let's put it that way, or adult comets. I guess they're adults if they're breeding. Goldfish are the cows of freshwater fish. Pretty much. Yep. Except they're also far more likely to actually eat living things. The amount of frog spawn they eat every year. They probably eat half the pond snails as well, which is why it's not absolutely overcrowded with them. If I didn't have goldfish in there, I'd probably just have a pond literally full of big snails. Because the frogs don't eat snails because they can't digest the shells. And I know goldfish will eat some. If it's small enough to fit in a goldfish's mouth, it'll eat it. Let's be honest. Thinking of the poop. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Since talking about goldfish, got 2 friends for Charlie. Or I mean, that's what I did. Is I got Watson, who was Nadine's goldfish, and he outgrew the tank. He was about that big. And then I got 3 more comets to go with him. 4? 3. Yeah, so I had Watson, Holmes, Moriarty, and Baskerville. I've still got all. I think it's Moriarty who died. Then I got Lucky, who was the one that was brought into work after surviving being caught by a cat. And while Lucky was in quarantine healing, I got him or her a friend, Baldrick. And yeah, Lucky and Baldrick and Watson and Holmes and Moriarty are all out in the pond doing goldfishy things. And now I'm clearing the back garden. I can see the pond again. I've just got to clear some of the gunk out of it next. But that can wait for a bit. Mostly I've got to get all the dead leaves that are sitting on top of the net off. and then things will be fine. Thinking of getting a pair of white longfin bristlenoses. Makes offensive gestures behind hand. Yeah, that's on my list of fish I want. Longfin snow whites. Again, it's just a case of finding a pair that is a price that I'm willing to pay. Let's put it that way, shall we? Not a price I can afford, a price I'm willing to pay. I might get a bit more for those than I'd get for the super reds, but not a huge amount more. Yeah, it's on my list. Mostly, I need to find another female super red because all the ones I think are going to be female turn out to be male. I've only got another 20 or so in there, so hopefully one of those does turn out to be a girl. Because I've got 2 males in there at the moment. And then another L144 female again. So I might move the Shelleys on and then convert what is the Shelley tank into something else for general community type. A pair of bristlenoses in there, and then see what else I fancy. I only found a big female at work, good at hiding. You know, they're bristlenoses, they're plecos. Well, at least it's not clown plecos. There ain't nothing hides like a clown. And they're actually well camouflaged as well, so even if they're out and about, you can't see them. I got 3 of them, and I see them more now than I ever used to, but I still don't see them very often. And the only reason I see them half the time is because I turn the caves around so they're facing the front of the tank, so you can actually see into the cave. Yeah, they've not bred, but they need very low pH to breed. And when I'm doing water changes in a bit of a rush because I've got to go to work, then I don't necessarily get the magical butt water from the back garden and use that in their tank to lower the pH. So I think it's probably why the Nanacara has stopped laying again. It's because the pH is probably getting a bit high, because they will only breed below 6, I think. I think bristlenoses or the clownies, they only breed around pH 5, which is a problem because I really can't be putting my hands in that. There's some reason my skin is really sensitive to acid. Even if the rain's a little bit acidic, I'll find it stings my legs if I'm out walking or cycling. Oh, we're nearly out. We are out. But anyway, somehow I made it through the 2 hours of waffle. Thank you for. It's expensive to work in an LFS. Yes, that's why I didn't go for a job in an LFS. I used to work in a model shop, and I found that out the hard way. Don't work in a shop with things that you're into or that are your hobby, because you will spend all your money on that. And otherwise, don't take your wallet to work, because then you can't buy stuff. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here, for putting up with my inane waffling for a couple of hours. Only short, long fin, regular bristles. I've never seen one long fin. She's out all the time. Different tanks. Yeah, again, different fish, different personalities. But yeah, have a great week. See you next week. 6 a.m. 6 p.m. Sorry, geez, 6 a.m. You don't want to see me at that time in the morning. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do.